For this next part, we're going to go ahead and fill in the blank spaces of your yin yang with some watercolors. Open up your watercolor set. Now, my rule today is that you may only choose 2 colors, 2. The other supplies you need, obviously, is a cup of water, paintbrush, and I want you to get salt shaker. You could also get your can of salt and just put some in your hand. It's up to you. First step, when you're working with watercolor, you have to do what's called waking up the colors. I'm going to use yellow and blue. So first step, I'm going to put water in there and let it sit for a minute. That lets the color sort of rehydrate and get more vibrant. Do the same thing with the blue. Those are the 2 colors that I choose. I just put some water in there, clean off my brush. The other thing you should keep handy whenever you're painting is something to clean up with. So you might want a towel, paper towel, napkin, whatever. Something where you can dry your brush if you need to, or you can wipe up any spills. The technique we're gonna do today is called wet on wet with salt added to it. The salt must be added when the paint is still very wet. That way the salt will absorb some of the water and create an interesting texture effect. It's just something fun for us to try for this project. The wet on wet technique is this. I'm going to take my brush with just a little bit of water on it, and I'm going to paint very carefully inside my shape. I want you guys to be careful to not get your color on your Zentangle or on your patterns, your ink patterns. So you could probably not tell at all that I just put some water on the paper here because it's clear. But water likes to hold its shape, believe it or not. It's not going to go anywhere as long as I didn't put too much on. Now I've grabbed my blue and I'm just going to dab that blue paint in there, and you're going to watch it bleed like this. So I'll put a few dabs, and then the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to clean off my brush so I don't wreck my yellow, and I'm going to add my yellow right to the page, and I'm going to let these colors just sort of mix and bleed together. Now, you know what? I'm not going to lie. Not loving this color. I'm going to go ahead and make some green happen in there too. Blue and yellow make green, right? But the green that I'm seeing is a little muddier than I wanted. It must be because the blue has a slight purple tone to it. So I'm going to add some green in here just to have that be a little more of the color I was hoping it would be. And notice how that's not going anywhere. It is staying right where I left the color. So it's sort of bleeding together, but it's staying inside the circle where I painted it. I'm going to do the same thing for the rest of my yin yang blank space. Do my very best to stay away from the patterns. And I'll just let that bleed. Oh my gosh, I almost forgot. While it's wet, I'm going to take my salt shaker and just sprinkle some salt right on there. Don't touch it. Leave it alone. When this paint is completely dry, you'll be able to just brush that salt right off. I am going to salt as I go here, because if I painted this whole thing by the time I put salt down, chances are the first part would already be dry again. So I'm going to paint and salt as I work along here.
Ooh, ah, ooh, ah.